Rocky premiered in 1976 as a low-budget underdog sports drama that defied all expectations and became one of Hollywood's most influential films. These are 15 hidden details you completely missed in Rocky. Number 15. United Artists wanted established stars like Burt Reynolds or Ryan O'Neal to play Rocky Balboa and offered Sylvester Stallone $360,000 for his screenplay if he stepped aside. Stallone refused every offer, insisting he had to star in the role or the script wasn't for sale, a decision that nearly cost him financial security. The actor was nearly broke at the time, living in a cheap apartment and struggling to pay bills, making the gamble even more desperate. Producers Robert Chartoff and Irwin Winkler eventually agreed to let Stallone star, but slashed the budget dramatically as insurance against an unknown lead. Rocky's raw, everyman presence on screen reflects Stallone's own life circumstances during production, lending authenticity impossible to achieve with a Hollywood star. The decision shaped his entire career. Number 14. Stallone penned the first draft of Rocky in approximately 3 to 4 days after watching boxer Chuck Wepner fight Muhammad Ali in 1975. The journeyman fighter lasted 15 rounds against the champion, inspiring Stallone to write a story about an unknown getting a shot at greatness. Only about 10% of that initial emotional draft survived through multiple rewrites before shooting began, with significant changes to structure and dialogue. The rushed creative process captured raw emotion and urgency that more polished scripts might have lost through overthinking. Director John G. Avildsen and Stallone continued refining scenes during production, improvising moments that felt true to the characters. Watch the final film and you'll still feel that quick draft energy. Number 13. The legendary training sequence showing Rocky running through Philadelphia and up the museum steps was filmed using a Steadicam revolutionary camera technology that was relatively new in 1976. Cinematographer James Crabe operated the Steadicam to follow Stallone through city streets, creating smooth motion impossible with traditional dollies or handheld cameras. The invention by Garrett Brown allowed fluid movement during Rocky's dawn jog past markets, through neighborhoods, and finally up the 72 stone steps. The sequence became one of cinema's most iconic training montages, copied endlessly in sports films for decades. Composer Bill Conti's triumphant score, "Gonna Fly Now," plays over the montage, perfectly synchronized with Rocky's physical transformation and growing confidence. The combination of new technology and inspirational music created a template. Number 12. Many Philadelphia street shots were filmed without official permits or hired extras, giving Rocky's neighborhood scenes spontaneous realism studios couldn't replicate. The famous moment where Rocky runs past a food market and a vendor tosses him an orange wasn't scripted but captured during guerrilla shooting. Real locals appear throughout crowd scenes, reacting naturally to the filming, unaware they were becoming part of movie history. The production designer scouted actual working-class Philadelphia neighborhoods to find locations that matched Rocky's struggling boxer lifestyle. The tight budget made elaborate set construction impossible, forcing cinematographer James Crabe and his crew to embrace real locations with all their imperfections and authentic character. Watch background details during street scenes and you'll spot genuine 1970s storefronts and pedestrians. Number 11. The bull mastiff named Butkus, who appears as Rocky's pet throughout the film, was actually Stallone's real dog from his personal life. The natural chemistry between Rocky and Butkus adds emotional depth impossible to achieve with a trained film animal meeting the actor for the first time. Stallone reportedly had to sell Butkus when he was broke before Rocky sold, then bought him back after securing the film deal, making their reunion even more meaningful. The dog's calm presence in Rocky's dingy apartment emphasizes the character's loneliness and need for companionship beyond the boxing world. Watch their interactions and you'll see genuine affection rather than performed pet handling. The decision to use his real dog added another layer of authenticity to Stallone's already personal performance. Number 10. Director John G. Avildsen hadn't watched a boxing film before signing on to direct Rocky, approaching the project without preconceived genre expectations or visual cliches. His inexperience with boxing movies became an asset, allowing him to prioritize character emotion and personal struggle over sports spectacle. Avildsen had recently won acclaim for Save the Tiger starring Jack Lemmon, proving his ability to handle character-driven drama with working-class themes. He focused on Rocky's relationship with Adrian, his mentorship with Mickey, and his self-worth rather than elaborate fight choreography. Chartoff and Winkler initially worried about his lack of boxing film knowledge, but his fresh perspective helped Rocky transcend typical sports movie formulas. Watch the quieter scenes between Rocky and Adrian in the pet shop. Number 9. Early screenplay drafts gave Mickey Goldmill a more antagonistic and abrasive personality, with dialogue containing racist overtones that created uncomfortable conflict. Actor Burgess Meredith brought gravitas to the role, but Stallone softened Mickey's character during rewrites to make his eventual mentorship more believable and compassionate. The original version had Mickey rejecting instructing Rocky with harsher cruelty, emphasizing the boxer's isolation before the relationship could be repaired. Director John G. Avildsen worked with Meredith to balance toughness with underlying care, transforming Mickey into a flawed father figure rather than a one-dimensional obstacle. The revised character arc allowed for genuine emotional growth as Mickey admits he wasted Rocky's early potential by not believing in him. Watch their gym scenes and you'll see layers of regret and redemption. Number 8. The climactic fight between Rocky Balboa and champion Apollo Creed was filmed in just a few weeks, with minimal budget for elaborate choreography or effects. The production focused on emotional stakes and physical realism rather than flashy boxing combinations, making every punch feel consequently brutal. Real boxers were hired as consultants to ensure the fight mechanics looked authentic, even if the pacing served dramatic rather than technical purposes. Actor Carl Weathers brought athletic credibility to Apollo Creed, having played professional football before pursuing acting. Cinematographer James Crabe used close-up ring shots to emphasize exhaustion, pain, and determination instead of polished athletic spectacle. Watch the later rounds and notice how the camera lingers on faces showing damage and resolve rather than cutting away to avoid showing impact. Number 7. Stallone and Avildsen deliberately chose to have Rocky lose the fight by split decision, emphasizing personal triumph over winning the championship title. The unconventional ending subverted sports movie expectations, where underdogs typically win against impossible odds in the final moment. Rocky's real victory comes from lasting all 15 rounds and proving his self-worth, not from defeating Apollo Creed for the belt. The decision frustrated studio executives who wanted a traditional crowd-pleasing knockout finish, but the filmmakers held firm on their vision. Watch Rocky's walk through the crowd searching for Adrian after the fight, and you'll understand that winning her love matters more than any title. This thematic choice elevated Rocky above typical sports movie formulas into something more emotionally complex. Number 6. Test screenings revealed that the original ending lacked emotional closure, with Rocky winning the fight but feeling hollow without resolving his relationship with Adrian. Robert Chartoff and Erwin Winkler decided to reshoot the final sequence so Adrian pushes through the crowd to reach Rocky in the ring after the decision. Actress Talia Shire's performance as the shy pet shop worker who finds courage to claim her moment became the film's emotional climax. The revised ending shifted focus from sports achievement to romantic connection, making Rocky's declaration of love the true knockout punch. Avildsen filmed the new ending with tight close-ups of the couple ignoring the chaos around them, lost in their private moment. Watch that final scene and you'll see how the crowd noise fades away as they embrace. Number 5. Rocky was set during the United States Bicentennial celebration in 1976, tapping into national themes of underdog pride and working-class American optimism. Apollo Creed's entrance for the fight, dressed as George Washington, and the red-white-blue spectacle connected the bout to patriotic renewal. The timing proved perfect as audiences sought feel-good stories about ordinary Americans achieving extraordinary things during economic uncertainty. Watch exterior shots throughout the film and you'll spot bicentennial decorations and celebration references scattered through Philadelphia backgrounds. The cultural moment gave Rocky added symbolic weight as a metaphor for American resilience and self-reinvention. Actor Carl Weathers' character specifically references the bicentennial as motivation for giving an unknown a title shot, making it central to the plot. The production designer incorporated period-accurate patriotic imagery throughout. Number 4. Audiences worldwide connected deeply with Rocky's story of perseverance and self-worth, themes that transcended boxing and American culture to become universally meaningful. The film portrayed struggles familiar to working people everywhere, from dead-end jobs to lack of respect to feeling like wasted potential. Rocky's journey from loan shark enforcer to championship contender mirrored viewers' own dreams of getting one chance to prove themselves. The training montage running through Philadelphia streets and up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art became an iconic symbol of overcoming obstacles through dedication. Actor Burt Young's portrayal of Paulie as Adrian's bitter brother added another layer of working-class frustration and resentment. The film balances Rocky's physical journey with his emotional growth, making the boxing almost secondary to personal development. The themes proved so powerful that Rocky spawned 8 films. Number 3. Made for approximately $1.1 million, Rocky grossed $117 million in North America and $225 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film of 1976. The financial success shocked United Artists executives, who had agreed to the low budget precisely because they expected modest returns from an unknown lead. Packed theaters throughout late 1976 and early 1977 demonstrated how word of mouth turned Rocky into a cultural event beyond typical movie releases. The film played in theaters for months, with some venues reporting audiences staying for multiple showings and returning with friends. Robert Chartoff and Erwin Winkler's gamble on Sylvester Stallone paid off spectacularly, earning profits that exceeded their most optimistic projections by enormous margins. Watch how the film's modest production values became assets rather than limitations, making Rocky's world feel authentically struggling. Number 2. Rocky received 10 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor for Stallone, Best Actress for Shire, and Best Supporting Actor for both Meredith and Weathers. The recognition validated the film's artistic merit beyond its commercial success, proving that genre films could achieve both popularity and critical respect. The nomination shocked Hollywood insiders who initially dismissed Rocky as a low-budget boxing movie without prestige picture credentials. Avildsen's direction, Richard Halsey and Scott Conrad's work, and Conti's score all received recognition from the Academy. The multiple acting nominations demonstrated how character work elevated Rocky above typical sports movie performances. Watch the film understanding that Academy voters recognize something special in its authentic storytelling and emotional honesty. Number 1. Despite modest expectations and competing against films like Network, All the President's Men, and Taxi Driver, Rocky won Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Film Editing at the 1977 Academy Awards. The victory represented an extraordinary achievement for a low-budget independent film starring an unknown writer-actor who refused to compromise his vision. Stallone's gamble on himself paid off with Hollywood's highest honor, validating his instinct that he was the only person who could authentically play Rocky Balboa. Avildsen's Oscar recognized his character-focused approach and ability to find emotional truth in a genre typically dismissed as lowbrow entertainment. The editing award acknowledged how Halsey and Conrad's pacing built tension while developing relationships that made audiences invest in Rocky's journey. The wins proved that authentic storytelling about universal struggles could triumph. Rocky redefined the underdog story in cinema, blending personal struggle with authentic filmmaking and cultural resonance to create a timeless classic. The film's success proved that believing in yourself and refusing to compromise can lead to extraordinary achievement. Which hidden detail surprised you most, and what film should we open next?